had another startup company, and I sold it to Lucent, and it was in a totally different technology space. One of the rules was I had to do something totally different than my other company, which is called Springtide Networks. Like Paul Simon, the singer-songwriter, he said, never repeat yourself musically. I didn't want to repeat myself technologically or in a market space. So I started talking to different people, and the way I go about these things, I just like to listen to people and hear what problems they have or things they want to accomplish, and see if technology can be applied somehow toward it. And I kept hearing this, geez, I've got a lot of documents, and they're stored all over the place, and I don't understand them, and I know I should. And at the time, there were all these regulations coming at people, between 2003 and the present time. Sarbanes-Oxley and all these regulations about how to respond to legal requests and things like that. So I decided that solving this large document discovery problem would be a worthwhile use of my time. And I kept hearing people say over and over again that they're having e-discovery problems, and there are all these regulations they had to comply with, and it all revolved around what they had in their data and them understanding it, and them not having adequate tools to do that. And Google had a very successful IPO at the time, and their big mantra was, hey, I've got all these cheap servers cooperating together to solve this problem of showing you everything that's available to man. So I figured, hey, a similar approach, using lots of cheap computers working together over a network, which was my kind of specialty, would be an interesting way to spend my time and solve this e-discovery problem. E-discovery was also, a big market, still is. People kept saying over and over, again, back to talking to people, gee, these tools seem to have been built in the 80s for solving a 1980s kind of problem. And I really need something that's bigger, that's faster, more scalable. And I kept hearing people say, when I have to do an e-discovery and I bundle up all this data, and a month later I know how big the problem was. I can't estimate costs. I can't figure out, what the problem really is. And as a technologist, that just made no sense to me, whatever. So, we built something that uses a lot of, cheap hardware to get you answers in hours, minutes in some cases, and handle this big data problem. So I'm not repeating myself technologically, and it's solving a real world need. So that was those were the two criteria I wanted to satisfy. The biggest thing is it's the most scalable solution. So, obviously today there are terabyte and petabyte problems which no other product can satisfy. And again, we've done it with, this approach of putting a lot of cooperating computers on a network and let them all have the data and come up with the answer quickly. That's what Google does with their search engine. They put all the knowledge on the internet in a whole bunch of computers, and no single computer is responsible for the answer. Present technology, they have one computer give you an answer. And with the digital Reef approach, it's a bunch of computers cooperating over a network. And, Moore's law was just going to drive the cost of networking, storage, computing power lower and lower over time. So it just seemed to make a ton of sense to let people add the capacity they need as they need it and get their answers faster, cheaper, and better. So that's the real differentiating characteristic. The fact that people have such large document collections, they're asking for services to help them archive and manage their data, because they just can't get enough power in their buildings to keep buying all the disks to store everything. So you've heard of cloud computing, so people are buying these cloud services where they can say, hey, Amazon, I want some servers, or I want some storage. So Digital Reef is built to fit right into that model. As corporations or organizations need larger and larger amounts of storage and more insight into the data, we can provide that directly in a cloud-based model, either inside their corporation or outside. Again, because we have this scale and our unique technology to kind of provide these answers. So the fact that it was built for this model that's obviously emerging for the kinds of data volumes we have puts us right in the sweet spot for where the market's going to be going and is going. We took a very different approach. A lot of e-discovery companies, they started off with plain old search. We have that, as you know, but we build our product fundamentally in this cooperative model for classifying and organizing data with no human intervention. The idea kind of came to me because when I was thinking about the company, I'd search for, natural language processing or something about the technology I was interested in developing. And it would always be on page 14 of Google. So I said, what would be interesting is if a program read these for me and I gave it an example and the most relevant documents popped to the top of the list. So it isn't that Google did a bad job, it's just that Google doesn't know what I'm thinking about. So by using an example document and having all the results and all the documents form around it, by having technology that can basically read results and form documents around the things I care about, was sort of the crux of our engine. And other products just aren't built that way. So in the 80s, people talked about artificial intelligence. I wouldn't go quite that far as to say that's what we do, but we use a lot of educated guessing about what it is you really want to read, and we pop it right up for you. So it saves lawyers who have to review lots of documents a lot of time because they see the things they're most interested in most rapidly. The legal service provider, he adds a key bridge between technology and techniques, where expertise and training of internal IT staff can be provided such that the technology can be used most effectively. So we provide technology and we make it very easy to set into a legal service provider's process and training and set of techniques. So they can go in and help corporate clients get at these petabytes of data, pull out and remove duplicates of the relevant information, and then get the minimum relevant set of that into legal review, as rapidly as possible. So it's a very synergistic relationship we have with the legal service providers, because no matter how much technology you have, the proper application of it will always be important. So having trained project managers, trained consultants who can go in and make sure the collection of the data before it's pulled into a digital reef is handled in an evidentiarily correct way is very, very important. And so we see it as very symbiotic, very synergistic between us and legal service providers. Our technology is also built in a multi-tenant fashion. So a legal service provider can go in and set up different projects for different clients and host a lot of this technology, again, in the cloud, where they can take advantage of our scale. And all the data is kept securely. And because we use this object model, this named object model for indices as well as tag databases for legal review, and the data itself, we can keep everyone's data straight and let a service provider scale their business across many clients. We saw that there was a definite problem going to the burgeoning cloud scale. I just spoke about that. There was a huge turnaround problem because of the scale in terms of taking months to do jobs that people had to react to in days. And that opened the window for Digital Reef to get access to projects that no one else could do. I think one customer quote is, I have to get this answer, well within a normal window. If you guys are, as he said, BSing me, we'll find out fast. But if you can do it, you'll save my project. So we were able to go in because we were new, but had this speed and scale that no one else had. We were given the chance. We proved ourselves, and that let us get our foot in the door to let people realize this new technology in a grid computing paradigm really did make a difference and let us get into, as you say, kind of a mature industry. The thing of it is, we keep running into kind of problems that come about in the e-discovery space that didn't exist half a decade ago. Lawyers have been doing e-discovery for quite a while, but they never had to deal with social media before. They didn't have to deal with mobile devices like we do today. So many messages in so many places. The ease of communication that we have today. It just causes things to pile up. The fact that people can store 500 gigabytes of data on their drive, it just changes the whole equation. So something like Digital Reef had to come along, or folks would never be able to get through the data with these old tools that people have used for e-discovery for a long time. And they can't wait the 30 days to get an answer about a portion of their data. They have to be able to see more data in hours, and that's what we do.